Okay, so today we're going to play around with really getting around some of the model limitations when it comes to interesting concepts that we might have. One good example of this was talking with an artist earlier who really wanted to kind of like control where certain architectural elements were highlighted and control certain things, but let the model kind of fill in the gaps on the other. And it was really just kind of like a back and forth about how do we get our creative vision to come out of these models. So that's what we're going to focus on today. We got equal votes for succulents and cracked ice. We get to do multiple, so we might as well just try both. These are just going to be bases for us to work from. They're not going to be like the resulting dragon. I'm trying to think of like what's inspiring me here now that we're doing succulents and cracked ice. Okay, I'm going to drag this one up on top so I can kind of position it. I'm going to drag this down a little bit more opaque. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a way to get this kind of like popped on this fella here. I'm going to do this. And I'm just getting that control image kind of like ironed out. So I took the head of one of those and I'm taking that control image and kind of pulling that piece out. And I'm going to do the same for this one. We're getting the sketch there and I'm going to take its head off. Right. So now we've got like our dragon body and our dragon head. And I'm going to pull this over here. Give it a little bit of a new head. These horns aren't exactly what I'd want them to be. So maybe I'm going to take those down. What I could do is I could draw a little bit on this. So now I'm going to go to the internet. I'm just going to get some cracked ice photos. This one's kind of cool. I actually like this one the best. That one is super cool. So we're going to take that and use that as a reference image here. And in this particular example, I think that I am going to primarily use this reference image to get some of this texture. So I'll do a regional reference image. I'm going to bring the weight down and I'm going to come in and kind of pick some areas where I want this to be like really highlighted. I am going to fix this control image. And let's actually merge these together just so that we actually have one unified image that can sometimes cause some like weirdness. And let's also just create a little bit of a background here so that it's kind of anchoring on that. And then we'll do some more regional guidance and do like sky. And then I'm also going to add right-clicking and adding a prompt to this regional guidance here and doing crack ice. And we will upweight that. Your control layer. Type, and we'll give this a go. This isn't bad. It's not terrible. I will note that we've got the same seed. That's probably what's driving that swirl in the background is the seed. If I switched that, I'm sure it would change. I should probably set this to random. Yeah, swirl's gone when I change the seed. I like some of this that's going on over here, and I kind of want to keep that in some sense. So this is where it's nice to be able to say, I want to save this out as a raster layer. And then, save this one because then we'll hide our regional guidance and I'll turn this on. And then I can just kind of like, erase some of what was in there out. I think I need to like get a little bit more of the cracked ice effect. That's kind of what I'm going for now. I'm going to do a quick denoising on top of this just to kind of get a little bit more of kind of like a unified layer since I merged those two together. Hopefully it doesn't change too much. It did change too much. I'm going to go back down a little bit lower. This looks good. I'm going to come in and get some details right now on the face of this dragon and see if we can get it to be a little bit more. And I'm going to take the suggestion that somebody had made entirely of ice, a solid block of ice. And then we're going to go ahead and do a couple of denoising passes on the head and see if we can get it to be a little bit more icier. I like the details. It's got a little bit more horns than is in my like sketch. And what I'm doing is I'm actually editing my control layer right now. And what I'm doing is I'm taking what it gave me and I'm just going to kind of come in and edit the control layer to follow those lines a little bit. I'm going to come in and maybe do some brushing on the raster layer a little bit to kind of clean this up and make this a little bit less like wonky. And then I'm going to do some in painting, turn that layer back on, take a peek at it, kind of add in the snow down here. And because I've kind of created a new control shape, it's going to adhere a lot more to the thing that I kind of received the first time around. And I like that a lot better. Where we need to go from here is I need to get more ice. We're going to turn that weight for that regional guidance up. I'm wondering what will happen if we kind of go in and paint this regional guidance all up on these wings too. I'm going to regenerate just this top part. I'll hide those regional guidance areas once again. And we're going to try that out. Oh, baby, I like that. There's some things that need some work here. I need to change a layer control layer. Let's turn the transparency off just to take a peek at what is happening here. There's this spot right here. When you're working on a control layer, you can see the areas that you've erased, and those are filled in with black when you generate. When you're erasing, you basically have two options. You can either erase, or you can pick that black color and just paint black onto the control layer. So there's like multiple ways you can get there. I'll enable that transparency effect again, clean up this just a tad. And then we will turn our in-paint mask on and kind of do one final little in-paint here on the back and go from there. I do like what it did with the arm there, so I think that gave it some interesting depth. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off our control layer now. I am going to just in-paint this one region right here to get a little bit more love on getting this to look seamless. Let's do this. Let's turn down the style. Let's see if we can get that to just blend a little bit more. This may just be one of those areas where you want to go in and manually brush that up, going in and actually just fixing up some of the structural things here, and then just denoising after the fact with a little bit of low denoising. And paint this and then make that a little bit lower. Kind of blended that together a little bit. We could go back in and do some blending over here as well and feel very confident that we've gotten a very, very nice ice dragon. Noticing now that the wing outline is a little bit crooked. It's not like the same as the other side. We're going to get this and just kind of like add a little bit of the wing. And that is because of our control layer. So we can see that here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to use this. I'm outlining it even though the control layer is hidden. And that gives us that little bit of extra wing. I want this kind of like connector thing over here. I'm going to juice this up a little bit. Okay. Somebody said dragon shadow. Yeah, you typically want a dragon shadow. What I would do here is I'd take the control away. I would pick a little bit of a darker color, and then I would make it a little bit more translucent and manually kind of like do this thing. Just a general like rough suggestion. Might need to do like a regional guidance here on shadow. Shadow right there. Somebody said the dragon shadow should have light caustics from the ice. Sure, it should. If we're going to make this like perfect, it should do that. Now, here's an interesting idea that I have. I'm going to duplicate the control layer, and then I'm going to like flip it so that I get like a little bit of like a shadow. Turn this off real quick so I can see what I'm doing. I'm going to align this up and peek through real quick so I can get that. What I do want to do though is make sure that I don't have like a line coming through this. So boom, erase that line. This line here. We'll move it up just a tad bit. Peek underneath and see if we got a line. Yeah, we need to take care of this line too. So erase that. And we're gonna merge these together. And if we look at that, now we've got, you know, obviously a lot of like erased spots, but overall we're in a good spot here. I'm gonna turn my translucency off, opaque black background off. Hey, look at that. That's kind of cool. There's like a little ice reflection. Probably lighten it up a little bit if we like come in and do some lightness right here. Then do another denoise, and that may just be perfect. Somebody said that looks good. That's pretty awesome. That's why we did the shadow. It's really just to get that kind of effect, that response here. Look at that. It worked-ish, but you get the idea. It's a useful tool. Great suggestion, whoever did it. Glimmer, you putting pictures in the chat, trying to show me up. I copied this in now because I got to show everybody that's watching on the YouTubes. Glimmer just post this in the chat. Come on, man. What are you doing? Way to upstage the boss. Okay, we're going to do our succulent beast now. Trying to figure out how we can get some variation here on this fella. I guess we could like use part of it and composite it into something new. Let's try that out. Let's just try putting it in. We're going to take maybe one of these other heads. I like this guy's crazy dragon head. I'm going to try that one. I'm going to do this. Take it. And I'm going to erase the other heads. Apply that. Well, I want to do a little bit of drawing here to kind of like connect the dots on these two. And merge these down. I am going to fix some of these. Maybe just erase the bottom half of this dragon because I kind of want to let it just imagine its own thing. And then something else that I kind of want to do is get rid of the wings. Not completely, get rid of the wings as they are. And I'm going to kind of duplicate and move them up just a little bit. So just kind of repositioning this to make a little bit more sense. Composition as it is. When we say covered in succulents, desert background, and the other thing that I should probably do is merge these together before I do this, just to get one control layer. They typically work better when you just have one unified control layer. I'm going to turn off the control layer. I'm going to come over here and I'm just going to do succulents. I'm just going to generate some succulents for my use. And wow, look, it does a pretty good job at that, doesn't it? When I'm just asking for succulents, it's a nice little, pretty little desert flower. Let's try to get it to be like some different ones. Succulents vine. Okay, I like that. That is cool. Vertical garden, succulent wall be the last one. And then we'll take these and kind of go figure out how to like adorn our dragon. I like this as a reference image. So I'm going to use a regional reference image. I'm taking this here and kind of turning it into a regional reference image. Let's turn our control layer back on, head back to our dragon here and see. So I'm going to use a regional reference image to kind of like maybe just get the body of the dragon. I'm noticing that we've got this like weird tail thing over here, which we don't want. Body of the dragon there. I'm going to take one of these, maybe this one here. I'm going to convert it into a control layer. Maybe the easiest way to do this would be to select object and see if it can pick up just the succulent. This will be an ultimate test. God, sometimes it just works, and that's really nice. All right, so we're taking that. I am going to resize it before I do the scribble processing, because that way I actually get the right scribble size. Oh, I actually like that better. That's kind of cool. Look at that. That'd be a nice little like thing. Let's do that. 2 of them. Maybe even 3. And I'll do 1 more. Okay, so we're going to kind of merge these 3 together. And then let it just kind of like pick up what it wants to pick up. And we'll erase some of this stuff, get more of like the head back in. Now we got this kind of like succulent thing. We've got our regional guidance there. We're going to take a shot and see what we've got. Wow, that's a little bit too strong. I didn't put a dragon in here, so it's literally just like a vertical garden. A dragon covered in succulents. This might still be relatively strong from a style and composition perspective, so we may need to bring that down just a little bit. It's interesting. We're going to pull that down so that it can kind of like look sane a little bit. We got to fill out some of these details because it's a little bit too strong. Maybe we'll pull that down to like 60%. Maybe we should try style only and see what that does. Because it could be that the composition is driving too much, like actually shoving succulents in. Yeah, there's some cool stuff happening there. I like the cactus wings. Those are kind of cool. You know what? I'm going to roll with this. Maybe take the sketch away just because it's probably going to fight us a little bit more than not. And I'm just going to get some colors down to work with on this because I like these. I like this spot here. I like having like a little bit of like dappled leaf look. Hoping that we can kind of like get that there. All right, we're going to try in painting this piece over here. We'll see what happens if we do this at a high denoising strength. I might need to take out this regional guidance because it could be a little bit too strong now. Oh, there's some cool stuff happening. I like this, like, it's like a big cactus Bulbasaur type looking thing. We got this like succulent here that we don't really want, but everything else is kind of nifty. Let's roll with it. Let's see if we can get this type of look up here. So I'm going to duplicate this raster layer. And this is kind of what we got over here. I'm going to take some of this and kind of reuse it as another piece of this. Flesh this out, kind of draw this up here. I'm going to turn off this regional guidance. It's because I think we're seeing it inject a little too much now. And we're just going to kind of play with this and see if we can get our way. I can dig it. There's some like anatomical things I have issues with. May not be worth fighting over right now because it's kind of like generally along the lines of what I'm hoping for. Let's like go in and just focus on the dragon's head. And I'm going to do it without the control real quick just to see if we can get something kind of neat. I like where the dragon is now. He's going to get a nice little look. We're going to do a little bit of tweaking on the back. Clean that up in the sky. And then we'll do one last little end paint. And our succulent dragon will be good to go. Nice. How about that? We did it. In the meantime, we've got a couple of dragons that we're happy with. I'll save this out. We can take a look at both of them together. We got our ice dragon. We got our succulent dragon. Success. We're going to call that a day. Everybody, as always, I had a lot of fun. If you have ideas for future community studio sessions, go ahead and make sure that you put those in the community channel, or if you're watching this on YouTube, put it in the comments. And in the meantime, I hope you all have happy invoking. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and we'll see you next time.